Welcome back. I'm Mark Simone, filling in for Larry Kudlow. There's a dire warning from the Congressional Budget Office tonight. Now, unless Congress prevents the coming end-of-the-year tax increases and spending cuts, another recession is likely. But will lawmakers be able to break the partisan paralysis that has gripped Washington? Joining us right now, two distinguished senators, Mark Udall, Democrat from Colorado, Ron Johnson, Republican from Wisconsin. Senator Udall, let me start with you. If there were no Republicans, just Democrats, what is it you'd want to enact?
Well, that's never going to happen, with all due respect to my Republican friends, but I would want to put Bowles-Simpson in place immediately. I was a businessman in my old life. I know you've got to have a balance sheet to which you add net worth every year. USA Inc. is no different. But let's get Bowles-Simpson done. We're going to cut spending. We're going to fix Medicare and Social Security. We're going to simplify the tax code, generate some more revenue. Those personal rates are probably going to have to go up, but it has to be in the context of paying down our debt while we make the right kind of investments in the short term in infrastructure and our people and in research and development that leads to innovation and a stronger economy. But let's do Bowles-Simpson. I'd do it in a minute. If I couldn't get reelected because Bowles-Simpson made some people mad, I could live with that, because it's the way forward. It's the template we've got to put in place.
All right, but Senator Ron Johnson, there's things in Bowles-Simpson that people would object to. There's a lot of cuts there. There's tax increases that would upset a lot of people. Your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, what I'd like to see out of the Senate Democrats is to pass something. You know, it sounds great to put forward Simpson-Bowles. That's what Budget Chairman Conrad tried to do, but his conference basically shut him down. So the way this process works is the House has shown that they're willing to be held accountable. They've passed a budget. That's on the table. We need to see something out of Senate Democrats to put on the table. Then we would go to conference, and that's where the compromise would begin between the parties. But first of all, the Democrats have to compromise with themselves and pass a budget, or at least agree to President Obama's budget, which, by the way, lost 0 to 99 in the Senate just last week.
Yeah. Now, listen, I know this is, I'm daydreaming here, but there was a time where Reagan and Tip O'Neill could get together and talk. Even Clinton and Gingrich could work things out. Bob Dole could get things done. What's going on nowadays with all the bickering that never stops and nothing ever gets done? Senator Udall, what can we do about that?
Mark, you're right. The president and the leadership in both houses ought to sit down. That would be Majority Leader Reid, Minority Leader McConnell, Speaker Boehner, Leader Pelosi, and the president. Let's sit down. Let's urge them to sit down and go to work on a Bowles-Simpson plan.
Well, but let me ask you something. Shouldn't your president get off the campaign trail and maybe get these guys in a room and do something about this, run that meeting?
Certainly. We got very close last summer in August, as we all know, and it was discouraging to me a bit because we had 9-part spending cuts to 1-part revenue increase, and my good friends on the Republican side wouldn't take the deal. But look, the past is the past. Let's go to work and get Bowles-Simpson put in place. It'd be good for the country, good for business. We'd steal a march on the rest of the world.
Yeah. Senator Johnson, it's not as simple as Simpson-Bowles, but also, is this government now just too big to succeed?
It's certainly too big to manage, that's for sure. But I want to go back to last summer because I have no idea how close we might have come. I was totally opposed to the secret negotiations because the American people simply don't know what was proposed, what was rejected. We should be really following basically regular order. And again, the House has done that. The Senate should do that here. The Democrats in the Senate should put forward a plan that they can actually vote for. Since I've been here, a Senate Democrat has yet to even vote for one budget proposal, none. And they need to do that first so the American people can see what their plan is for really preventing this fiscal cliff.
Now, Senator Udall, you'd agree that the current spending level can't be maintained. At some point, we've got to cut spending, wouldn't you?
Yeah, let me just say this to Ron. We agreed we wouldn't call each other by senator, but to Ron, look, he and I have, I think, a common goal, which is to get our country on a fiscally sustainable path. We did pass the Budget Control Act, which sets in place some very strict spending cuts. It provides a way forward for the country. The budget passing exercises here in the Senate have become so political. There's so many gotcha amendments. It's not a very worthwhile process right now. We could agree probably to return to a process that was substantive, that really focused on the budget rather than playing political gotcha games.
Yeah. Now, Senator Johnson, people talk about tax increases, but that hasn't been shown to really generate much more revenue. But tax reform could generate tremendous revenue. What about that?
Absolutely. I am all for pro-growth tax reform. I'm all for increasing revenues, but let's increase them the old-fashioned way by growing our economy. And I honestly think just an attitude change. This president, unfortunately, his policies attack businesses. He heaps regulation after regulation upon the backs of job creators. I think getting new leadership that actually is pro-business, basically says America is open for business again, would make a tremendous business, get all that cash that's on the sidelines right now that's afraid to be invested, give those guys the confidence to start investing in businesses and creating jobs. That's what we need to do, but we need a plan. We need to show those folks that we're going to get our fiscal house in order here. And again, Republicans have a plan. It's on the table. The Democrats don't.
All right, but we need all you guys to get together, stop the bickering, and get something done. I hate to say it, but we're out of time. Thanks to Senators Mark Udall and Ron Johnson. Thanks, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
we'll talk to you again.